thank you all for being here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an honor to be here. I've discovered that I've just been scratched as the alternate for Bradley Manning in the Grand Parade. They asked me the other day if I was willing to serve for him, and of course I was very honored to do that.
Get
I was
closer
to be able
to the
to be in
closer.
they said, okay, they told me I'd be in a car, maybe my own car here at the head of the parade, waving to people. I would have loved to do that, but I'm happy to be here in this protest. I was proud, let's say, of the people who voted him to be Grand Marshal. They did credit to the LGBTQ community by doing that. Unlike Lisa Williams. When people were putting out signs on YouTube and the internet, "I am Bradley Manning," I wrote my own sign, "I was Bradley Manning." But I wasn't always. The war happened, the Vietnam War happened really because I wasn't Bradley Manning in 1964 or 65 when I had access to documents, top secret documents that could have been put out at that time, and I think would have made it impossible to escalate the war. So I have a heavy burden on my shoulders. It took me 5 years, including 2 years in Vietnam, to realize that I should do what Bradley Manning did, and at that point I didn't have what he had, which was current documents to put out, so I admire him tremendously for putting out documents that can show ongoing war crimes, as by this very president, Barack Obama, the torture that he showed, that we were handing people over to Iraqis to be tortured. We would have troops in Iraq right now, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, if our present president had his way. But thanks to what Bradley Manning gave to WikiLeaks, he showed that in those cables that there were atrocities by American soldiers that we had denied and covered up. And that made it impossible for Maliki in Iraq to give us immunity from prosecution by Iraqis for atrocities by American soldiers. And Obama could not afford to send American troops over there to commit atrocities or to kill people without immunity from the Iraqis. So he had no choice but to pull them all out. Now there are people who say we wish they were still there. I am not one of those. So that's one of the things I give Bradley Manning credit for. And I'm very proud to be identified with him. Incidentally, people think that I'm regarded as okay now as a foil against Bradley Manning, the bad guy. I don't see that in any respect. President and the Vice President, Nixon, and his Vice President, who was later pushed out for extortion, both called me a traitor. It was no more fun then than it is for Bradley Manning, for me to hear that, for a patriot to hear that then or now. I'm very delighted to hear that song by Phil Oakes, because I spent an evening with Phil Oakes once. We were both on the road together and our paths crossed not long before he died. And he said, "Dan, I've got to show you my latest song here. It's a single and it's going to be on AM. It's going to be on AM." You know, when I've been on AM for a long time. So this is going to be a hit on AM. And he had put on a very popular song on the other side of what was then a 45 RPG, if you ever heard of such a thing.
Yeah, we know.
But his song had the chorus, "So here's to the country you've torn out the heart of. Richard Nixon, find another country to be proud of." Very stirring song, but I don't think it fully made it. Well, we're here today because a big mistake was made by the board of directors of Gay Pride. They're talking about a mistake made by one of the most honorable things that the Gay Pride people have probably done for a long time. So real patriotism in honoring Bradley Manning. But her comment is, this is Lisa Williams, we all await the decision of that system on Bradley Manning. However, until that time, even the hint, until he gets his life sentence that they're trying to give him, even the hint of support for actions which place in harm's way the lives of our men and women in uniform will not be tolerated by the leadership of San Francisco Pride. Well, when I first read that, I said that means they will not allow George W. Bush, Rumsfeld, any of these other people, to Cheney, who put these people in harm's way and would keep them there now if they would. but I'm not sure that's what she meant. I think there was a reference to Bradley Manning in that point. Well, let me say, first of all, it's been shown even by Rumsfeld, Bradley Manning did not harm or place in harm the life of a single serviceman. That is a falsehood propagated by the Pentagon. And when it comes to the question of any hint of support for Bradley Manning, if that's who we're talking about, let me make it very plain. I'm sure you're all included in this, but speaking just for myself, I don't hint at support for Bradley Manning. I couldn't be louder and more for Bradley Manning. There will be no secret of that at the Gay Pride Parade. And I guarantee to you that I will be marching in that parade for the first time for me with a banner honoring Bradley Manning. And so, since that will not be tolerated by the leadership, I guess I'm in for a little intolerance in the course of this. But I'm sure I will be there, and I will not be the only vet and the only Marine who is in that parade. Thank you.
A big round of applause for Daniel Ellsberg! Okay, moving right along, we have John Caldera.